We talk a lot about what it's like to be limerent. We talk about that on this channel, what it's like to be obsessed with someone you can't have and to be living a secret double life where all your romantic energy is pouring into a fantasy about someone who doesn't feel that way about you and may not even know you exist. But what is it like when someone gets limerent on you? I know this is going to be hard to hear for people listening to this who are deep in limerence and believing it's harmless and it affects no one. But when fantasy crosses the line into delusion and combines with a kind of self-destructive set of behaviors that can often fester alongside limerence, when there's a history of trauma, and when you're in an environment that supports secret keeping, lies, hiding things. That stuff can develop limerence into something quite dangerous. So my letter today is from someone I'll call Grace, and she writes, "Hello, Anna. I just realized I'm the object of another person's limerence. We are both members of the same religious institution and highly involved within that community. Also, we are classmates in a training program to become priests. We never spoke to each other until 2 months ago, despite being in the same close-knit community for over a year. I decided to start a friendship with them because of our mutual passion for a life of service, and we are the same age. We've been talking the last 2 months and sharing a lot about ourselves." All right, I'm going to circle here with my pink pencil, my fairy pencil, things I want to come back to. But I'm going to read all the way through Grace's letter here so we can get a feel for what's going on, and then I'll see if I can help. All right, so talking the last 2 months, sharing a lot about yourself. We've both struggled with CPTSD, addiction, and limerence. It felt nice to converse with someone who had experienced similar struggles. But as we talked further, I started feeling uncomfortable. They seemed to fixate on everything I said and put me on a pedestal, so to speak. 2 days ago, they admitted to me that they were struggling with sex addiction and that I was the object of their obsession. I'm about to live full-time in our temple and pursue priesthood because it is my calling. I have no desire to form romantic or sexual relationships with anyone in our congregation because I believe it to be unethical. Our religious order doesn't require celibacy. This person also wants to live in the temple, but I can sense this will be a dangerous situation. What should I do? I feel remorseful I didn't recognize the dynamic sooner, but I can't let that hold me back from taking action now. The other person doesn't seem fully aware of how blinded they are by their limerence despite admitting their obsession to me. It doesn't seem appropriate to sit with them and attempt a conversation. My instinct is to speak with leadership from our religious institution. Any advice you may have would be extremely appreciated. Thank you." All right, Grace, I think I can help. What a tough situation. I thought about this for a couple days before I decided to respond to it because it feels like a real dilemma to me. So let's just go through what you told me. You're becoming a priest. You are both in the same training program. You hadn't spoken for over like a year, and then you became friends, and it sort of went fast. It seems like you guys really bonded or possibly even became kind of enmeshed fast by telling each other all your trauma. But friends do that. I get it. And both of you have a mutual passion for a life of service. That's lovely. That's a good reason to be friends with somebody. And so you've been talking that you both have struggled with CPTSD, addiction, and limerence. So that's a heavy load, and it's no stranger to people here, but it's definitely an issue for people who are going to have the kind of authority over people that a priest does. And I get it. You're not, a lot of people associate abuse with Catholic priests. You're in some other denomination. But you're still in a position of authority working with people who are vulnerable. So limerence and addiction are quite dangerous things in themselves, in either of you. And so, yes, you had a nice time talking to somebody who had similar struggles, of course. And then this other person admitted that they were struggling with sex addiction, and you haven't been specific. Like, that could mean a lot of things. and that you are the object of their obsession. So those are kind of two big problems. And sex addiction is categorically a problem for a person with the kind of authority and access to people's interior lives that a priest has. And so that's a big issue. Here's what I was worried about. I was worried like somebody confided in you. Limerence itself isn't a crime. And I know you were remorseful that you didn't recognize sooner, but who does, right? That's the thing. Limerence is sneaky like that. Limerent people tend to do everything they must do to keep it hidden because they know, and I'll say we know, right? But the limerent person knows that disclosure of their feelings is likely to blow up the whole friendship. So limerent people will often keep a friendship going all the time by never disclosing the true information that would make the other person kind of freak out and run away, right? But there's this kind of obsession and fantasy that they will hint at it. They will tell you just a little bit, just enough that maybe you will disclose, and then they will get that reciprocation that limerent people really want, right? They crave reciprocation. And they do not put their cards on the table unless they really want to, make this thing go forward or go away. Take it to a decision. So this person decided to tell you, but it sounds like it was in the same disclosure, sex addiction, and that you're the object of their obsession. Oh dear. And they had been fawning, putting you on a pedestal. So yeah, I'm really glad that you are out of that friendship. That's not a good thing for you. You're about to live full time, and they might be there too. And you're clear not to have sexual relationships with anyone in the congregation, not the clergy, not the people who come, because it's unethical. Yes, it is. And they want to live in the temple, and it will be a dangerous situation. I'm not sure what you mean by dangerous, like slippery dangerous, like a relationship could happen, or dangerous because you actually fear that they will hurt themselves or other people. I don't know, but I do know that somebody with active sex addiction, with bad enough judgment that they're disclosing it in an environment where it's not acceptable, it needs to be dealt with. It needs to be dealt with. So then I was like, what should you do? Should you talk to them first? And I wouldn't want to either. Everything just feels all yucky and weird. If you tell on them, is that a betrayal, a terrible betrayal? So here's, I thought on this. I actually did my daily practice to get clear. And I was just like, you know what? Like, having the type of access that a clergy person has to people and their vulnerabilities, adults and kids, but adults, that means that the people who are running this seminary must know. And I bet they have experience on how to deal with this kind of thing. And so what my thought was for you is, rather than, blowing the whistle and being, I'm telling, the spirit of what you're doing is go get help and say, I need help knowing how to handle this. But make sure they know what's going on. You do need help knowing how to handle it. And how they handle it will tell you a lot about whether you can trust the institution as well. I totally get not wanting to have that conversation all by yourself. I think that's right. I think this is something that absolutely involves the institution and the future of the people who will be impacted by the people who come out of this institution is at stake. So you're doing the right thing to talk to the leadership. So good for you. You're obviously doing well that you didn't fall into this. That's great. Don't feel remorse that you couldn't see it coming. That is the nature of limerence. And if you are watching my channel, I assume you had childhood trauma. And you were basically trained to overlook red flags. So you're learning now. Your red flags are like, here I am, and you are doing something about them. So congratulations. I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you're going to be in this religious institution as somebody with that level of boundaries and good sense and ethics. So I'm proud of you. Thank you for that. If you're watching this and you're relating to this topic, I have a video lined up for you. It's about 8 lies from childhood trauma. Lies. Those lies get in there and they alter your ability to detect reality. I've got that video lined up right here, and I will see you very soon.